Hello, my wonderful viewers, and welcome to another episode of Betty Adams Overanalyzes. Today we are going to take a look at Kaiju number 8, and specifically the brutal humbling that awaits Kikoru Shinomiya in the next several chapters. So, for most of her life, this girl has been a prodigy, top of her class, basking in the adoration of her peers. The only person who pretty much didn't worship her was her father, who kept holding her to higher and higher standards. She was so good that she was sent overseas to train and was accepted into the prestigious California Neutralization University, which is apparently a thing in this universe. When that was first announced in chapter 3 or 4, I believe, when Reno was explaining the situation to Kafka, I wondered if that was an actual translation, because oftentimes names like that won't actually mean that they went to the States. But so I was kind of waiting for confirmation, and sure enough, Kikoru confirms here that she was in the States for her university degree. She was accepted at 16, and according to what Aharu said, the Japanese university program takes 5 years, but most university programs in the States, especially for technical degrees like that, are 4 years. So that would make Kikoru somewhere between 19 and 21, depending on how far she was into her 16th year when she went in there, and whether or not she skipped a few years, which is entirely possible. She was listed as their youngest valedictorian graduate, so she actually did. She is a hotshot. She clearly speaks English well enough to train in an American university. She had scores big enough to be accepted in an overseas university, and she is, especially since she's come to the 3rd division, she's been their tower of strength. Her exceptional skill was formally noticed by the Defense Force when they gave her that axe, ranks before she should have gotten it normally. And she's just been overpowering everything in her path and been a shining example of skill and power to everybody else in the 3rd, with only the far more experienced Mina Ashiro and Vice Captain Hoshina outshining her. And so, she has been basically a big fish in a small pond, but she has just been plucked out of her small pond and dropped into the wide open ocean of power that is the 1st Division. Every single one of the officers in the 1st Division is her equal or her superior in power, and they're almost certainly her superiors in experience. So there's just a massive psychological barrier that she's going to hit. Even if she wises up and makes her attitude way more humble and doesn't offend anybody in the 1st Division, she is just going to have to do a major mental shift from being the star pupil that everybody worships to being just another one of the grunts. Now, she still is the daughter of the Director General, but in a situation like this, that's just as likely to count against her as it is to be a benefit. You saw how much, or rather how little, Captain Narumi respected that when he first met her. So he said, "You're Mr. Iso's daughter." So he uses Commander Shinomiya's first name, and you saw the gasp that Kikoru let out when he did that. She kept her composure, barely, but she was definitely shocked by his casual treatment of her father's rank and name, and his casual treatment of the relationship. So Kikoru has been raised in a very disciplined, elegant environment, and now she's been dropped in with a wild cowboy of a captain, and you know that the rest of his unit is going to follow his lead. So how is Kikoru going to handle this? Is she going to be at her wit's end dealing with all these crazy people who don't respect the forms and traditions that she's been raised to treat with a near religious sentiment? But do you think she's going to be able to mentally handle being possibly the weakest person on the team for once? And there probably are people with lower powers than she is. Her last measured power was 55 during the test that we saw before the fungal incident. And all of these people on this squad are over 40%. That was her observation when she was in the helicopter. So she's just been dropped into where she's probably at the low end of power. She's definitely not the most powerful. Now this will force her to grow. She's young and inexperienced, and she has a lot of room to grow and a lot of time to grow yet. But that growth process is going to be extremely painful if I'm not mistaken. So what do you think? Leave a comment below telling me if you have any ideas of any of the challenges that Kikoru is going to have to face, going from being the most powerful, most overwhelmingly powerful member of her division to being the weakling rookie. So essentially, Kikoru is going to be in Kafka's position. I wonder if this is going to give her a better appreciation for what Kafka and even Reno went through at the beginning of their training arcs. So leave a comment below, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, check out the links below the video to get a copy of Humans Are Weird. I have the data, and peace out, my wonderful viewers.
The book from author Betty Adams, Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data, is a humorous look at human behavior through the eyes of aliens. This book is arranged in separate reports or essays, documenting the experiences with humanity through the lens of the aliens who have to interact with them. This anthology of short stories and vignettes from alien points of view highlights some of humanity's quirks we can all relate to. Author Betty Adams captures how strange and interesting humans can really be. This is a fun collection of stories you will really get a kick out of. Humans Are Weird, I Have the Data, from author Betty Adams. Order your copy right now on Amazon.